Shabbat Shalom. This Shabbat, we are reading the Parsha, the Torah portion of Noah, Parshat Noah. And it's about, shocker, Noah. I mean, it's about other stuff too, but Noah's really the focus. I mean, his name's on the thing. He's kind of a big deal. In fact, the Torah tells us just how big a deal he is. The Torah says he is tzaddik b'doro, a righteous person in his generation. Now, our ancient rabbis, almost all of them, when they analyze this particular line, because it kind of is weird, it could have just said that Noah was tzaddik, he was a righteous person, but it said tzaddik b'doro, righteous in his generation. And our ancient rabbis were really fixated on this b'doro, in his generation part. And almost all of them have the same kind of conclusion. They say it means that, well, he was righteous in his generation, like for his time. But if he had been alive at any other time, if he had been alive in the time of Abraham, if he had been alive in the time of Moses, he wouldn't have been at their level. Like he would have been, a guy, and they were tzaddik, they were righteous. This is a very common interpretation. I'm sure a lot of you have heard it before. I'm sure I've given a sermon on it before. It sounds very familiar. It's pretty well known. And I'm not saying that it's wrong. But since we're Jews and we can hold multiple truths at once, I can admit that it's always kind of bothered me, this interpretation that he was tzaddik b'doro, a righteous person in his generation, because I feel like it minimizes Noah. It minimizes his accomplishments to say, oh yeah, Noah, I mean, what you did was really great for your time. That's it. He built a boat big enough for 2 of every animal. I think that's amazing in any time. But I've never known any other interpretation of this phrase until recently. I learned a new one, and it's just as ancient. It's one of those other ancient rabbis. I just never knew his particular take on this line. And I feel like it's both much kinder to Noah and like fair to him, but also, as a modern person who's just trying their best, the way I think everyone is, especially these days, just trying your best, I think it's particularly more resonant than that other interpretation, which is just as valid and interesting and true. We just have this other one. And I'm excited to talk about that with you on Saturday morning when I give the sermon. Tonight, Friday, Rabbi Strauss is giving the sermon. So I know everyone's going to be there. We understand many people have religious obligations tonight that might keep them from being in synagogue. And by that, I mean baseball. We understand. We're Astros fans too. Still, I'm just saying it's only an hour. And maybe you want to come here and pray for stuff like, rain or good health or baseball. I'm just saying, God listens to all prayers and finds them all very important to listen to. And you've got Rabbi Strauss giving the sermon. And look, I can't say that this is a Astros themed Shabbat. It's not officially, and I would get in trouble for saying that. But I would say this is a baseball flavored Friday night, just to maybe sweeten the pot a little. Maybe you want to come stop by or tune in. However you would like to join us, whether virtually or in person, whether on Friday night, Saturday morning, or both, we're always happy to have you. You have a wonderful Shabbat, restful and healthy weekend, good time to recuperate, and of course, go Stros.